talkSPORT Breakfast, winning the hearts of a football-hungry nation.
Good morning.
An early morning special delivery of sizzling sports news.
Featuring a rotating team of top-name talent, including Laura Woods.
I can't do it. I was almost crying. I was so full up.
Ali McCoist.
I would hold my hands up and admit it if it was. It's a head cold. Now move swiftly on.
And Alan Brazil.
But,
Be a bit more inventive.
Wake up and smell the football.
When I'm not doing co-coms, I'm effectively protecting the nation.
talkSPORT Breakfast.
What was I trying to say?
Weekday mornings from 6 on talkSPORT. Get rapid reaction to all the transfer action. Transfer updates throughout the day on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2.
'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe,
Don't dismiss too long, Perry Groves.
What's
This is the one that you wanted.
Yes, that one. It's a bit sort of Route 1, isn't it? But very good.
We
Excellent.
like Route 1.
Exactly.
Who can use their brain too much on a Saturday night? In fairness, let us know what your songs are for leaving. We're talking transfers, of course. This is Kickoff on talkSPORT. Faker Others and former Arsenal winger Perry Groves with you until 8 o'clock tonight. 03717 223344 is the number to call to get yourself involved. I promised we'd talk more Arsenal. It's not just because Perry Groves is in the studio. It's because there's been some decent transfer business going on at the Emirates. We just were discussing Eddie Nketiah signing a new 5-year contract. 23 years old, of course, and was supposed to be out of contract at the end of the month. 92 first-team appearances, 23 goals since making his first-team debut back in 2017. And he's going to be wearing the number 14 shirt going forward, which comes with its own little bit of pressure. Of course, previously worn by Thierry Henry and the recently departed Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But there's been some other potential players looking to join Mikel Arteta and his team. A deal agreed for a Portuguese midfielder, Perry. Tell me more about Fabio Vieira.
Yeah, he's he plays as a 10. He can play the left of a 3. He can play the right of a 3. He's very, very creative. I think he had the most assists in the Portuguese league last season. And then again, he's another young player. I think he's 22 years of age. 14 assists, I said, in the Primeira Liga last season. 6 goals. And obviously he's won a couple of titles. He hasn't made his full international debut yet. He's obviously Portuguese under-21 international. So it's that sort of route that Mikel Arteta is going down. Again, he likes the younger players because I think that you can mould the younger players into the way that you want them to play. So that's fine. And I'm happy with those sort of signings, but I want to see Arsenal sign some more experienced players. We mentioned earlier about the lack of leaders, when things aren't going particularly well. So you need to have more experienced players to settle everybody down, sort of a couple of 27, 28-year-olds.
Do they need more midfielders? I wouldn't have said that was like first, port of call.
Well, I would say a holding midfield player was more prerequisite. Yves Bissouma obviously was sort of being touted, but he's gone to Spurs because of Champions League, which he's going to be a brilliant signing for Spurs. So he'll sort of battle, I suppose, with Odegaard. And Arteta made him captain, didn't he, towards the end of the season?
But this is what I don't quite understand, because, look, we talk about strength and depth, and that's clearly important, as is, setting up for the future as well. But Odegaard was superb last season. He's not going to knock him out of position, is he? Yeah,
but I'm always of the thought process. You can't have too many good players, and if you're having more competition for places, then you end up getting the best out of the players that are already there. So that's, as you said, that wouldn't have been a priority, because I think we need another centre half, need a holding midfield player. Obviously, we've got covering the fullback areas, which is pretty good. So and there'll be another centre forward, I'd have thought, which will be added to that list as well.
Yeah, they're going to need that. Speaking of centre halves, though, we were looking at this chap who's been linked, Lisandro Martinez, 24-year-old Ajax centre back. This caught my eye. Why wouldn't it? His nickname is the Butcher of Amsterdam.
I think he's very, very tough, isn't he? That's what they're saying. He's only he's quite small for a centre half. He's 5'9",
5'9".
exactly. But I think obviously coming from the Ajax academy, then he's a ball playing centre half with, you said there, like the butcher of Amsterdam. He's got that nasty tough streak that Arsenal have been missing sometimes. So I like players who've got that little bit
Haven't
of
you
edge.
got enough red cards with Granit Xhaka?
Yeah, you're right. But with Granit Xhaka, you always know that a yellow card's come in, and then you think, oh no, he's done the exactly same thing again, where it's like a scything, like 2-footed tackle, isn't it? Or he pulls someone's shirt. But I think with Xhaka, when he plays it in there, I don't think he's mobile enough to play as that holding midfield role. Him and Thomas Partey towards the end of the season had a decent little understanding going until obviously Thomas Partey got injured, and he was a massive miss as well for us towards the end of the season.
It feels as if he's very rarely fit, Thomas Partey.
Yeah, he seems to have a lot of muscle injuries, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, so he's obviously a very muscular footballer, and so maybe they've got to monitor his training a little bit better, put him on a different sort of programme. But when he's in the team, he makes a massive difference, Thomas Partey.
The interesting thing about Martinez is that he can play as fullback as well, and we were just talking about the strength and depth needed and the lack of fullback options when their first choice two aren't available, as they haven't been for a large part of this season. They had a £25 million offer rejected by all accounts, but they had so many injuries at the back this season. We saw Rob Holding have to come in when he seemed to have been frozen out a little bit and had his own injury problems. But, the centre-back partnership hasn't been steady for quite a while. Yeah,
I think when Arsenal were at their best midway through the season, it was when they had that the back four, didn't they, of Tomiyasu when he came in, of Gabriel, White and Kieran Tierney. That looked nice and stable and settled. Obviously, with Aaron Ramsdale behind them, there was a good understanding, especially in the middle of the pitch. And then, as you said, when Rob Holding came in, then he obviously gets injured as well. So, and with this Lisandro Martinez, as you said, he can play as a left back as well.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to three, he can play left sided as a centre halves. So it just gives you different options.
And we know Ben White can play as right back as
exactly,
well.
right back. He can play. I see him play for Leeds. He played as a holding midfield role. Where he was excellent at the Emirates actually when he was on loan at Leeds.
So that's quite a versatile back line when you look at it. And also, nobody's really been pushing Gabriel for a starting place, have they? So maybe this guy could come in and push Gabriel for a starting place, which would be good.
Exactly what I'm saying. You can't have too many good players, and it seems that there's a profile of the certain type of player that Arteta wants, and it is the younger players, because as I said, he can actually input his own ideas, and basically you end up like George Graham did it when I was at Arsenal, where he went and got a lot of young, hungry players. And as an Arsenal fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see a team that is actually bothered about the shirt and bothered, have that sort of desire and have that hunger.
Want to prove themselves.
Exactly, yeah. And he likes to play like the pressing game. But I just think it needs a little bit more experience. And I remember that after the Newcastle game, Granit Xhaka came out, didn't he? He said, well, we didn't do ourselves justice. We lost our discipline. We couldn't handle the pressure. Nobody was on. And you think, well, you're a senior player. You're the one who's supposed to be helping everybody around you. When things aren't going well, you go and take the responsibility, which he didn't do. So that's the next step. I said before, that Arsenal have to go. They have to have players that thrive under that pressure. And it didn't happen towards the end of the season. Where
are we with Gabriel Jesus? Because I know Arsenal are looking to tie up a deal for him from Manchester City. Apparently City asking for £50 million. Where's that up to at the minute?
Well, I think the relationship that he has with Mikel Arteta, because they were together for 2 seasons at Man City, when obviously Arteta was Guardiola's right-hand man. So he knows Gabriel's, he knows the character. His goal scoring record is about 1 in 2 points. He was playing second fiddle earlier on in his career to Sergio Aguero. But then he could play left, he could play right, but he's made it clear that he wants to be a centre-forward with Haaland going there. Forward that he's not going to get a lot of game time. And he likes to press. He will be the one, when he plays up front, to set the press off, because if you don't do that under Guardiola, then you don't get in his team. So he needs to, again, probably just improve. I think he's about, say, 1 in 2.5 over his career. That because he was sort of in and out. He can play as a 9, he can play as a false 9, he can play, again, wide in the 3. So, again, he gives you those options. Knows the Premier League, 25 years of age. Again, it fits that profile that Arteta seems like he's going for. So, again, it's the risk to reward with Jesus, where every transfer has a risk, but you try and minimise it by knowing the character, which Arteta does, and he knows the Premier League. You know, he knows how tough the Premier League is, how physical it is, so he's not going to have to take time to adapt. So I think that would be a really good fit.
Do you know what? I'd never really thought about it like that, minimising the risk when you bring in a player, because as you say, it does take some players, as we've seen at Arsenal on so many occasions, players take time to bed themselves in and get comfortable. And if you already know the Premier League, if you already know England, then, you know, you're already halfway on the way, and you know someone's personality. That's quite key. He'll know whether or not he's going to get on with those players in the dressing room and potentially help. You know, I know there's only 2 years between them, but the experience that Gabriel Jesus has over and above what Eddie Nketiah has, for, you know, he could make Eddie Nketiah better, either playing with him or competing with him.
Exactly. You're always learning. Eddie Nketiah will always want to learn. So he's a proven Premier League player, Gabriel Jesus.
And a proven winner.
Yeah, and with Arteta, they're very big on player profiles now, you know, what the psychology is, what sort of character you are. So instead of actually asking people, you know, what's he like in the dressing room, what's he like on the training pitch, what's he like away from the pitch, he knows Gabriel Jesus' character inside out. So that, again, it's a minimal risk for a player of that quality.